Hi students, this is another English class for class 6, and even today also we will be continuing with the previous lesson that we were doing, that is the third chapter in your textbook, Taro's Reward. So in the previous class students, we did till the 6th part, isn't it? I told you that the lesson is divided into 13 parts, right? So we did till the 6th one, and we also understood that Taro was a very obedient son, right? And then his parents were very old, and then they were also poor, right? And then we understood the meaning of the word sake, a Japanese drink, right? So today let us continue with the 7th part of the lesson. The 7th part of the lesson is in page number 31 of your textbook and till the end of the story. Okay, so if you look into the 7th part of the lesson, we see that in the previous class we understood that Taro was a woodcutter, right? And then he went into the forest, he discovered a waterfall when he followed the sound, right? And then as he cupped his hands and drank the liquid, he tasted the drink, the delicious drink sake, isn't it? So that was how he discovered the waterfall in the forest. And right after he discovered that, what he did was he took a pitcher. So pitcher is a kind of mudden pot, and then we use it to carry water. So he took this pitcher and he filled the pitcher with the delicious drink sake, okay, and then he went home. And remember, his father was really wanting to drink the delicious drink, isn't it? So the first thing that he did after reaching home was give the drink to his father. And then we also studied in a previous class that the weather was very cold, and since he was a very old man, he was shivering a lot, right? So the moment that he took a sip of the delicious drink, right then and there he stopped shivering, okay? So that was the kind of reaction that was there in the old man's body. And then after drinking to his full, he was very happy also. So what he did was he did a little dance in the floor of their house, okay? That means this indicates that the old man was very happy, isn't it? And as they were doing that, and you know, when you're home also neighbors come and visit you, right? Especially nowadays it's the lockdown, so many people must not be coming to visit you, but normally in the other times we neighbors will visit one another, right? So a lady, she came to Taro's house to visit them, okay? So this lady came, and then when the neighbors or visitors come to our house, we also give, you know, tea or coffee. We offer them tea or coffee, isn't it? So same like that, since they had the pitcher full of sake, and you know, it was a favorite among all the villagers also because it was very tasty, so they gave the drink to the lady, okay? And then the lady was, you know, very greedily drinking it. So the word greedy would mean wanting more and more, okay? So since it was very delicious, the lady was drinking it very greedily, and then he thanked Taro's family. And as she was sitting, Taro talked about the waterfall and how he discovered the drink in the forest, okay? So after that, the lady became very restless, and then she left the house in a hurry. So why was it? That was because she wanted to give the news to everyone else in the village, okay? So by the evening time, almost everyone in the village came to know about the waterfall in the forest, okay, the story, and it was spread like wildfire, and everyone came to know about it. So the next day in the evening, outside Taro's family's house, there were a kind of procession, a very long line of queue, and then all the neighbors, they had the villagers and the neighbors, they had come to Taro's house. Okay, so why did they come? They were very curious about the waterfall story, and then they wanted to hear it from the family itself, from the owner itself. So they made a long queue, a long line outside Taro's house, and then one by one they came inside, and Taro related about the waterfalls, his discovery of the waterfall to the neighbors, and then each neighbor was made to drink one sip of the delicious drink. Okay, to prove that really this had happened, right? So each drank a sip, and then after some time, by around an hour like that, the pitcher was empty, because remember, it was a long line, isn't it? So after everyone drank a sip, the pitcher became empty. Okay, and then that was how the evening was spent. And the next day, remember, Taro is a woodcutter by profession, isn't it? So Taro, he got up earlier than usual again, the very next day. So the next day, he got up earlier than usual, and then he set out to chop woods in the forest. But actually, he had another thing in mind. He wanted to go to the waterfall and collect the delicious drink. Okay, so he took the largest pitcher that was available in the house, and off he went to the forest. But as he went nearby the waterfall, he was very surprised, because all the neighbors and the villagers, they had gathered near the waterfall, and then some were carrying pitchers, some were carrying jars, and some were carrying buckets to collect the drink. So Taro was very surprised, and one man, he went forward to the waterfall, and then he cupped his hands like this, and he tasted the liquid from the waterfall that was flowing, and suddenly he became very angry. Okay, so why was he angry? Was because when he was tasting the drink, all he could taste was cold water only. So that is why he was, shouting that, Taro had betrayed us. He has, said a wrong story to us, because I have tasted this water, and it is cold water, but it is not a delicious drink. So Taro has fooled us. He was shouting like that. And one by one, all the people, they went forward and drank the water from the waterfall, but they could not get to drink the delicious drink, but water only. So they were all very angry, and some were shouting that, we should bring Taro, and, as a form of punishment, we must drown Taro in this very waterfall itself. They were shouting, and they were very angry with Taro, okay, and they were suggesting that they should find Taro. So very smart thing that Taro did was he hid behind a rock nearby the forest, okay, and he was hidingly watching all the situation that were happening. So they were trying to find Taro, but they could not find. So what the villagers did was they left the forest. All of them, they left the forest, and remember, Taro is hiding somewhere inside a rock, isn't it? Hidden behind a rock. So after everyone left, Taro came out of the hiding place, and he went near the waterfall. He himself went to the waterfall, and there were a lot of things that he was thinking in his mind. He was thinking like, is it really a dream? Or is it really the precious drink that came out of the waterfall? Because he could see that other people also drank from the waterfall, right? And it was just cold water only. So he was really doubting himself whether he had really discovered that waterfall or not. So what he did was, again, he cupped his fingers like this, and he went near the waterfall, and he tried to drink the water. But when he drank the water, he was very surprised, because to him it was the delicious drink only. So he was really wondering now, because a little while ago people were complaining, isn't it, that it was cold water, but for him it was the delicious drink. So he was very surprised. And see, the waterfall is a magical waterfall. That's what Taro realized, because to the other people, to the world, it was just cold water only. The waterfall just gave cold water. But to the hardworking, thoughtful, and obedient son, it gave the delicious drink, sake, right? So if you look into your textbook, page number 33, part 12 of your textbook, the last 4 lines of part 12. If you can see the textbook, to the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sake. To everyone else, it gave only cold water. See, this line, tells us that this waterfall that Taro had discovered is a magical waterfall, isn't it? Because it was providing him with the delicious drink. But it was magic for Taro only, not for other people. Okay, so after that, if you go to the last part of the story, that is part 13, then the story of Taro and his magical waterfall and how he discovered it reached the Emperor of Japan, it seems, the King of Japan. And the king was very impressed by Taro's discovery, and the king also knew that Taro was a very good son. Okay, so he was very happy, and he sent somebody to call Taro to the palace. Okay, and then when Taro came to the palace, they had a discussion. They talked about the waterfall, and the king really appreciated that Taro was a very thoughtful son, and he was really taking care of his old parents. Okay, so as a form of reward, what the emperor did was he gave 20 gold coins as a form of reward and as a form of appreciation. What the emperor did was he gave 20 gold coins to Taro. Gold coins are very expensive, isn't it? Even if you get hold of one piece also, you'll become rich, right? So Taro got 20 gold coins. And then what the emperor did was he named the most beautiful fountain in the city on behalf of Taro, in Taro's name. Okay, so what is a fountain? An ornamental structure in a pool or lake from which one or more jets of water are pumped into the air. So this is the meaning of fountain. So see, students, if you have seen some movies, then you see some very beautiful parks, right? So in the middle of the park, there are some, fountains of water that are jetting out from inside, right? And it makes beautiful shapes also, right? So that is nothing but fountain. Okay, so inside the city, the emperor named a fountain in honor of Taro. Okay, and then the emperor later was saying that this he did to encourage children to obey their parents and love their parents. Okay, so students, that is it about the story, and you have understood how, or how an obedient son gets rewarded for his good deeds, right? So that is the story of how Taro got his reward, right? And in the beginning of this lesson, students, I asked you a question, isn't it? Are you an obedient son or daughter? And in order to do that, what can you do? I was asking this question, and I also told you that I will get back to this later in the lesson, right? So you yourself also, you will know what kind of a son or a daughter you are, right? So what are some of the things that you can do in the present times? See, in the present times, you cannot be a woodcutter, right? You cannot go to the jungle because you have to go to school, right? So what are some of the things that you can do to make your parents happy? So I've given here 2 things. For example, you can help your parents. So for instance, you can go to the farm, to the fields and help your parents, right? At home also, if your parents go to the office, then you can help your parents by doing the household chores and being obedient to them, right? So that is one way that you can be obedient sons and daughters. The second option can be, or the second way can be, by studying hard. So see students, you all are in class 6, right? And then you all are very good students. So what you can do is you can study hard. If you study hard, then you will become somebody in life, right? You can choose different options and careers, but if you study hard, then you become a better person. And if you become a better person, if you have good careers, then that is how you can take care of your parents, like Taro did in the story. Because if you get older and if you become mature, then definitely your parents will become old, right? So by studying hard, by helping your parents, that is how we can become good sons and daughters. Okay, so that is a very important moral lesson that we learn from the story Taro's Reward. So I hope that you like the story, and since you have already heard the story from this class, and you can go back to your textbooks and you can read the textbook, then you will understand better. And if you're getting notes from your teacher, then you can also read it. That is how you will understand better. Thank you so much.